Hi, this is B from Sorcery Soap and Hocus Pocus Crafts. And today I wanted to tell you, it's not exactly a review, but it is kind of. I wanted to tell you about a gift I received for Christmas this year, and it was soap. Now, over the years, people have sent me some amazing gifts, truly. And I'm always baffled by it. I just feel so fortunate and so truly lucky. I've gotten a bag, I've gotten a host of bags from a friend of mine that I became friends with on Facebook. And over the years, we've been friends for years. She sent me a coffee mug from her home state. She sent me some things, these bags, these handmade bags she makes. I mean, just like a bunch of them. I use them. I absolutely use them. She sent me, last year, she sent me 2 years ago, she sent me a bunch of purses. I use those. They're so amazing. I had somebody send me these molds that they thought maybe I could use, so I made molds out of the molds. They were plaster molds, and I made silicone molds out of them so I could put soap in them. And I've been sent dog treats and herbs and tea bags and a host of things, not to mention a whole bunch of soap. And the soaps are fun. They're so fun. I love getting soaps. And when I first started making soap, that was one of the ways that I connected with other people, is ask them if I could send them some soap so they could review my soaps or just look at them or have them or whatever, so they could see what I'm up to, because I like their soaps and whatever. And I've learned a lot about soap, obviously. And I've cultivated 20 pretty stable recipes. I say pretty, I'm just minimizing. 20 stable recipes that 10 of them are non-animal fat and 10 of them are with animal fat. I prefer the animal fat every single time. Lard, tallow, it doesn't matter. I just prefer it. Here's a couple things that I look for. One, when somebody sends me soap, the very first thing I look for, or I am influenced by, and I'll put some pictures up so you can see the soaps that I've gotten, or at least the one that I'm talking about this time. So, and this soap is from Rebecca from Columbine Farm, and she and I became friends over this last year, and I'm just tickled with her work. I mean, she's really done great work. And anyway, so as soon as I got this soap, I loved the scent. That's the very first thing. It turns out that she buys her fragrance oils from one of the manufacturers or the suppliers that I buy mine from, so maybe that has something to do with it. But she blended one. The other one was straight from the manufacturer, wasn't a blend. It's called Trim the Tree from Scent Memory. Kristen is awesome. That group is fun. She makes the greatest fragrance oils, sophisticated, so just so you know. They're complex and nuanced and so interesting. And that is not to take anything away from Midwest fragrance oil, because theirs are too. To me, they're just a little bit more down to earth. Let's put it that way. Like I mean, Sherlock's Study is, let's just talk about that for a second. That's a home run all day. There's hints of leather and it's books and everything that I love, and the magic of fragrance oil and just everything I love. That's like my number one favorite. Ice Vanilla Woods, and then back to Scent Memory, Stonehenge. I just opened a bar that I made a couple years ago, Stonehenge from Scent Memory. Love it. You can't get enough of it. Anyway, and here's the other thing too. I really love suppliers that support back, that encourage and participate with their community. And there are some suppliers in the last few years that got pretty big for their britches and treat us, or treat me anyway, like they could give a garbage about me. They could give anything about me, and even if I were to pay to get to the head of the line, I'm still forgotten about. And not that I want to be ahead of anybody else, I just don't want to wait a month for my supplies. So we'll set all that aside. So the scent is the very first thing that comes to mind for myself, that I love, love, love. If it's a scent that I love, and that's very tricky, I think it's tricky, because everybody's nose is different, everybody's memories are different, and even a fragrance oil that I like one day, I might not like the next day. So that's a tricky thing. That is, there's no science behind it. You just have to, for me, I just follow what I like. And then if you like it too, cool. If you don't, I can't help you. I mean, because I'm the same. There's some days that I love peppermint all day, and then other days I'm like, yeah, I'm not so fond of peppermint today. So that is a tricky thing. The second is the design. Oh, wait, the packaging. Because you could see in this package, one way or the other, I love the packaging. I know we throw it away. I can't help it. I just love it. I love details. I love seeing and I got this beautiful card with it, with a handwritten note inside. Hence why I'm doing Hocus Pocus crafts now and making all these cards, because I really enjoy getting cards. I love sending cards. I love thinking about cards. I love the delight of mailing and hoping that somebody responds to me either with a card or with a note, like, instant message, and says, I got your card, thank you, it made my day, or, you suck. I don't know. But I like the whole romance idea of cards, and I want to be in the camp that brings it back. Anyhow, so that aside. So I love the packaging. I love the thoughtfulness. I love seeing into someone's mind and how they packaged it. I just love it. Anyway, so that's the next part. And the labels, by the way, I'm a rustic label person. I don't want to spend all my money getting somebody else to make really fancy labels that look like a corporation. I'm not trying to mimic a corporation at all. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to distance myself from a corporation. So if you get my label and you see that it's on paper and you're just going to throw it away, if the design is tickly to you, awesome. But I know you're just going to throw it away anyway. So I'm not going to waste your money and my money on that, because then I'd have to charge you more. And I see that when other people do that, for me, I appreciate it. So the design, and then I love texture of the soap. If the soap is not textured and smooth, I'm on board. I'm super on board. If the design is really thoughtful and there's no soap crumbs on it, it's all tidy, I'm also on board. And the colors are so far down the totem pole for me, because I am pragmatic, and I know some scents discolor, some fragrances discolor the soap, and so you're not going to get those vivid colors sometimes. But if you have both, then oh yeah, that's awesome too. But here, the usage, here's my criteria for usage. Okay, soap has to be fully cured. Like if it's sticky, either use rice bran oil or some other version of that, and you could cure it forever and it'll never not be sticky. I don't like sticky soap at all. I don't know that a whole lot of people do. I hate if it's sticky and it's like, I don't like the orange peel feel of it. I like it when the bar is smooth and it's all trimmed up. And I learned that from Zahida Mapp at Handmade in Florida. She and I have become friends over the years. She's awesome. I learned that from her because I bought some soaps from her. When she used to sell soap, I don't think she really sells it that much anymore, but when she used to offer her soap, you had to get on a list and you had to like get right in there and get that. And I got some one time. It's like winning something, right? And I got some one time, and her bars are so exquisite, like so beautiful, that it's shocking that they're handmade. And I love that contrast, that irony to it. And even her samples, my samples just got so much better after I got one of her samples because I didn't want to use it. It's so beautiful. and it's so perfect, and her recipe is beautiful, and just I could go on and on about it. Anyway, so that's what I like. Now, this doesn't mean that your soap is bad if you have orange peel effect on it. It's just not what I happen to like. And that elevated, by being influenced by Zahida, that elevated my game tremendously. And so that's what I do. And of course, we can't appeal to everybody, and that, everybody has different nose. So if it's all tidy and clean and neat and everything, okay. And we're not even talking about usage yet. And then if I take the soap and I put it in the shower and it lathers, and it does the job of a soap, I'm on board. That's it. I'm on board. So there's been plenty of times, and I think this happens with highly superfatted soap. Superfatting is such a controversial issue. I don't believe in superfat at all. I believe you alter your recipe, and here's why. Because you don't get to separate how much extra fat you put into a recipe when you add lye, sodium hydroxide, and water. It all comes together, and they're going to find their mate or not, and you're either going to be left with a greasy bar that is just got some creamy lather, but doesn't bubble very well, or it's not going to cure properly or something. There's a whole bunch of, and people are going to argue me, and that's okay, you can argue me, but superfatting isn't extra oil. It's just additional oil outside of your recipe. And the lye / sodium hydroxide and water, they're going to find the oils and butters, and they're going to attach, whether you like it or you don't like it. That's what's going to happen. So I know I don't want to make this too controversial, because I know a lot of people get their panties in a bundle over that whole topic, but that's my philosophy. If you have a better philosophy, I'm open to it. And I've discovered that it just is meaningless. Just add it into your recipe and figure it out, Anyway, so with all that said, Rebecca's soaps came, and I couldn't wait to use them. We put them in the shower, and we used them the very next day. Everybody goes, I want to leave it on the shelf and all this. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, leave it on the shelf. I'm using soap. I'm just going to use it. So anyway, we used it. We both used it. We both agreed. Phenomenal, outstanding, well-crafted soap. From everything that I've just prefaced fits all those criteria. So if you don't like any of my soaps, go over to Columbine Farm and check out her soaps, because she's got some delightful soaps, and she happens to use 2 suppliers that I really like. So that's Scent Memory and Midwest Fragrance Oil Company. Midwest Fragrance Company. Is that right? Yeah, Midwest Fragrance Company. And Midwest also has Smith & Candles, so they sell candles as well. And last year I gave everybody I knew a whole bunch of candles, and everybody loved them. So I got great feedback on those. So anyway, feedback is good, especially constructive feedback. And I think the way I frame it is constructive. Now, just like, because I'm making these new videos now, which come hell or high water, we're going to give it a try and see what happens and see where I go with all this. But so a long time ago, when I first started photography, I got online and I was in all these photography groups, and so I jump in there and I want feedback for my art and all this kind of stuff. And now let me preface that when I go into there and I wanted feedback for my artwork, I'd already gotten a book cover. I'd been on many magazine covers. I had 2 phenomenal shows in Sedona and in San Diego, or San Francisco. I had been published many times, so I kind of knew a little bit of what was going on in the world. It wasn't like I just picked up a camera and just started doing it. Anyway, so I go in there and I wanted some sincere feedback about a particular image I was working on, and I put it out there, and I saw the nature of what some people can do, and it tore me up. First of all, it was like a pack of hyenas. They get an opportunity to destroy somebody based on something that they don't understand or that is outside their purview, that doesn't meet, it doesn't meet the 3/4 or the thirds, all these rules, and they just chewed me up. And when I said something about it, they're like, oh, you can't handle constructive criticism. And I had been writing, so this is my photography life. I had been writing and studying with professors. So much work. I was a journalist. I'd written, I'd been published, I'd done all this stuff. And I'd been in groups. I'd also been in a writing group for 5 years. And we talked every single day. And we both, all of us, I had a couple friends in there, but all of us understood what constructive criticism was and hyena criticism. And hyena criticism is finding your weakness and attacking you and calling it criticism. That is not constructive by any stretch. And constructive criticism to me is talking about it in something in a way that helps the other person. That's it. And with the intention of support, with the intention of encouragement, because we don't know where everybody is on the journey. Some people are just starting out and they want feedback on their soap, and you don't want to tear them down too much because they'll just quit, and rightly so. Some people get their hearts broken easily, and I've been in that arena many times and had to bolster myself and get my act together and go back in it and let that all go. Why hurt someone unintentionally? Why, intentionally or unintentionally, why try to hurt someone? Like, that's the question. Why try? Why? When you could be a little bit kinder, you could be a little bit nicer, and you can try and support them to do better. To me, you don't need to think too hard about that. So when people claim that they're being constructive, and I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, no, they're not. That's what I see. They're not. And this isn't me dancing around people's feelings, because everybody feels different, just like everybody has different nose. It's none of my business how you want to feel about something. None of my business. It is not my job to fix your feelings. But I don't have to intentionally attack you either and call it constructive criticism. So, I know it's really tricky, and it's hard, and it's tricky to be in the world right now. And I keep bringing it down to a handful of people in my mind. That's who I'm talking to. A handful of people that get me, and I get you, and you know that my intention is not to hurt you. And so, my review of this soap and some of my suppliers along the way, awesome. I don't even need to talk about the people that I don't like. What difference does it make? I learned that too. Some of you witnessed that, by the way. So, here's my advice today. I'm giving advice. That's so ridiculous. I'm giving you advice that I would say to myself, and what I do say to myself, okay, just so you know. So here's my advice today. Always buy a size tights, one at least, if not 2 sizes bigger than what you think you need, and let go of my ego, because I'll be happy in the end. Number 1, they always shrink. Always. Every single time they shrink. They say they're not going to shrink. I don't care if they're made out of plastic. They're always going to shrink, because I just forget them and leave them in the dryer. I always do. And I don't want to continue to think that I'm gaining weight when I put my tights on every single time and go, wow, these used to fit before, or something happened. So 1 or 2 sizes. And you would think you don't need to do that, but you do. Well, I'm saying that to myself. You think you don't need to do that, but you do. Okay, so that's all I have for today, and hopefully you got something out of it. And if nothing else, you got a little chuckle. And let me know what you thought. Tell me if you agree or don't agree, or whatever you want to say. I hope that you find some magic in your life today. You do more good than harm, and you have a brighter day. So, okay, thanks. Bye.